Hey there, I'm Nate Washburn. Welcome back to the classic Hollywood movie you should know. This week the movie is from 1943, Keeper of the Flame, starring Spencer Tracy and Katherine Hepburn, directed by George Cukor. Now, this one is kind of a special one. I have to give a shout out here to a couple friends of mine, Dan Mecca and Conor O'Donnell, who run a podcast called The B-Side through the Film Stage Network. Now, what that podcast does is they take famous actors, and Dan and Conor talk about lesser known work. Now, I was fortunate. They asked me to come and be a guest on their podcast, talk about Katherine Hepburn movies. They suggested some movies, including this one, Keeper of the Flame, which I had never seen, hadn't even really heard of it, and it blew me away. This movie was fantastic, and I can't thank those guys enough for suggesting it and having the three of us watch it and then discuss it. So the story of Keeper of the Flame, it begins with this car crash, and in the accident, this massive political national hero named Robert Forrest is killed, and there's this huge outpouring of grief across the country. His funeral is swarmed with reporters and well-wishers and just people grieving. One of the reporters at the funeral is Stephen O'Malley, played by Spencer Tracy. He wants to write a human interest piece on the life and rise of Robert Forrest and sort of find out who he is and why he meant so much to the country as a whole. Now, the problem is O'Malley can't get access to Christine Forrest, Robert Forrest's widow, played by Katherine Hepburn. He has to sort of like sneak in and finagle his way. And then once he starts talking to her and the people who worked for Forrest, it becomes this mystery about, was the death an accident? Was there foul play? What is the truth behind the relationship between Robert Forrest and his widow, Christine? So Spencer Tracy and Katherine Hepburn are one of the most famous pairings on screen and off. Now, Tracy and Hepburn never got married because Spencer Tracy was married already, and his wife and himself, being Catholics, they didn't believe in divorce, so they were separated, and Tracy and Hepburn continued this relationship for 27 years. It went until 1967 when Spencer Tracy died. And they did 9 movies together, starting in 1942 with a movie called Woman of the Year, and going all the way until 1967 when they did Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, which was completed a few weeks before Spencer Tracy's death. Now, Keeper of the Flame is kind of an outlier in the Tracy Hepburn canon. This one is a mystery. This one is dark. Katherine Hepburn's playing against type. She is a femme fatale. She doesn't show up for a while. Like, the whole first part of the movie is all Spencer Tracy. It almost feels more like a Spencer Tracy movie with Katherine Hepburn playing a supporting role. Now, I wouldn't argue that Keeper of the Flame is the best of the Tracy Hepburn pictures. That's probably Adam's Rib or maybe Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. But this one should be more well known. It's such a bizarre, really interesting addition to their canon of movies, and the political story makes a lot of sense, and it's very relevant even today. And a quick little shout out to the actress Margaret Wycherley, who plays Robert Forrest's aging mother. She's suffering from dementia. She's hidden away in another house on the estate, and Tracy and Hepburn show up there. Tracy's asking questions, trying to find out information. And she does this crazy monologue. She has this scene, and she steals that whole part of the movie and turns in really a brilliant performance. Wycherley, mainly a stage actress, but shows up in a couple other great movies. She plays Mother York in the Gary Cooper film Sergeant York, and I'd argue her best, she is Ma Jarrett to Jimmy Cagney's Cody Jarrett in the gangster movie White Heat. So if you're looking for a more obscure Hollywood movie to watch, old Hollywood movie to watch, I would recommend Keeper of the Flame with Spencer Tracy and Katherine Hepburn. I was stunned as I watched it, loved every second of it, highly recommend it, and it is this week's classic Hollywood movie you should know. I'm Nate Washburn. Keep watching.